Good morning. It is Friday morning, May 8th, 2026. The market is going crazy, or it appears to be anyway on the surface, but I'm going to take you through an intraday market analysis today, and we'll just kind of check out the breadth levels and so on. So right here, my add-on is updated. It's updated every day by 7 o'clock. So anyway, if you want to update it daily, you certainly can. Breadth is relatively narrow. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm looking at the comp, and it is up. Let me see if I can locate it. Up 350 points. Futures are up 530 points. The Nasdaq futures are, and it seems like everything would be going up, but that's really not the case. But we'll take a look at that. Once again, here's that Google Finance AI beta site. And as always, the market is your teacher. So any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. Okay, I'm going to go to my designer, and I'm going to, under market analysis user groups, I'm going to select, well, I'll use market cap weighting. And anyway, I'm going to rebuild all of these indexes beneath here. So I'll go to tools, rebuild indexes and groups, and what it's doing, it's rebuilding these with the latest data, because I'm updating every 5 minutes using Thinkorswim. This just takes a few seconds to do, and then we can get into some market analysis. Anybody who's long the AI stocks is, of course, making a fortune if they've been in, and it seems like it's never going to come to an end, and maybe it won't, but I've seen too many of these things that are never going to come to an end. So we'll see. It's just crazy. The shorts are getting squeezed. It's a huge driver of what is driving the market up. If options sellers who are taking on the risk of selling against these indexes, what they have to do is they have to buy the stock to cover themselves. Otherwise, they're going to be tremendously exposed and be wiped out. So I believe that's a lot of what's driving this market. Anyway, I'm going to flip through here, and let's see. I'll show you where I am in case you want to duplicate this. This is charts. Okay, now I've got the quick pick view open. That's what I was looking for. Anyway, it was open and hidden. So here we are, top-down process views for HDSI generated indexes. And you can see that market cap weighted indexes, what's up today. Look at the SOX, up 3.7% market cap weighted, followed by the NASDAQ 100, 1.8, and then the S&P 100. And we get down here to the Russell 2000, the S&P 400, and the S&P 600, and they're at 0.5% or below. So what I'm going to do is bring up the SOX, and you can see what this looks like on the as an equal dollar weighted index, and it's just straight up after this gap up, slight pullback here, but here where it is currently today, and a lot of this just has to be short covering. That's the only explanation. Now I'm going to go to let me get this out of the way. I'm going to go to my chart views and go to the HSI index charts, and we'll just start right here. You can see that the the SOX Semiconductor. This is A and B accumulation, and it's riding up clear near the top of the window. A accumulation has come down somewhat, but now it's turning back up. But the A plus B really shows you the strength of this index. Now let's look at the S&P 1500, same chart. And you can see it doesn't, when we get into the broader market, it doesn't look nearly as strong. Here's A and E, and here's A plus B and D plus E. The D and E are headed up, and the A and B are headed down, even though this equal dollar market cap weighted chart looks strong here. The numbers internally just don't look that great. I'm going to go on down while staying in the S&P 1500. And let's just go down here to this chart, which is number 5. And you can see the percent above the 20, 30, 50, and 200. Pretty strong, but look at the direction here of the stocks in the S&P 1500. These are flat above the 50 and flat above the 200, but above the 30 and the 20, they're headed down. Now I'm going to jump back up to the SOX, and you can see this is only 30 stocks or so, and it doesn't give us a real good reading. Let's go down to the S&P 500 and see what it looks like. Same thing. These two are going down, and this one's flat, and this one's flat. Now let's go to the NASDAQ Composite. Now this is the entire NASDAQ. So going down, flat, flat. Let's look at the S&P 400, the mid caps. It peaked here, been going down, peaked here, down, kind of down, but mostly flat. And then let's go to the Russell 2000. You can see that it peaked here and peaked here, and these are essentially flat here too. Now let's look at the NASDAQ 100, which is pretty much leading this. You would think these would be going up even above the 20 and the 50, but there's 100 stocks in here, and a lot of them are really not moving up. I'm going to right click, I'm going to change to the index group. You can see there are 102 securities in here counting the index. And now let's go to, I don't want the charts, I want the warehouse views. I'm going to go up to my working scans, and I'm going to do the momentum. And this is going to select all the stocks that are going up today. And you can see out of the 102, including the index, 52 stocks are up today and 46 are down. So there must be just a couple that are unchanged. So for a market where the futures, NASDAQ futures, are up 550 points, it seems strange that this isn't a broader rally. So let's go back to that momentum up, sort on the raw combo. You can see that Micron is at the top, followed by SanDisk, followed by AMD, followed by Intel, Seagate. So these memory and storage companies are just going crazy, and they are really driving this market. Let's just look at MU. I'll go to a different chart. And look at this. I mean, it's just crazy. From around 350 up to 7, where are we today? The percent change today is 13.55. It's up 87.61, $87.61 today. And that just updated. It's up to 94.97 today. I mean, and you can see the effect of the short squeeze too. It's just insanity. Now I want to double check that. I'm going to look at my Thinkorswim. I'm sure it's right though. MU is up $94.30 right now. Okay, so you can see that it's really a pretty narrow leadership. That is a 14.69% change today. SanDisk is an even more expensive stock, 1528. It's up 188.45 today. Okay, I'm back at the major market indexes, market cap weighted, and looking here, you can see how long ago these indexes crossed over. That is the 3 crossing over the 6. Every one of them are positive, and let's see how many. 6 of them crossed over 27 days ago to the upside. So just using that simple indicator would have you in on the long side, but that's just one of the things that goes into it. It's nice to see a crossover with breadth and volume and so on. Let's just bring up the NASDAQ 100. And okay, I need to get to a different chart here. I'm going to go to my number 6 chart. So this is the NASDAQ 100. And that crossover, let's see, I think I put it in here with the crossovers. It's 6B. So that crossover happened right here on this day, and you can see that there was an effort to rise. Strength seen returning after this. Great call right here, and that's the effort to rise, and the next day was the actual crossover, and it's remained strong ever since. And the 3 has stayed above the 6. These are exponential moving averages. So that was a great buy signal for anybody paying attention to it. Now let's look at some of these other things up here. You can see that the using this window, potential buyer sell force indexes and advanced decline volume and advanced decline issues. We did not get any signals on there confirming the volume down here. It's just, if you look down at the very bottom, it's just average on that day. And we didn't start getting confirmation on the advancing issues versus declining until we got to this date right here on the gap. The same thing for the advancing versus declining volume. And that these other 3, the force 13 and 2 and the volume point of control were already green, so that generated a potential or weak buy signal, not a strong buy signal. A strong buy signal will have advancers versus decliners over 5-1 and advancing volume over declining volume at least 5-1. And there's no place in this area where that was achieved. So this is why I'm saying, this breadth is just really not there as far as advancers versus decliners or advancing volume versus declining volume. But that doesn't mean the market won't go up, but it's a selective market. Now looking at this, clear back here, here's our last green signal where these requirements were met. It moved up a little bit and then it failed. or it just chopped all this time, and then here's where the buy signal came in based upon the crossover. But the internals were not all that strong. Now this is the NASDAQ 100s, which should be the strongest. Let's look at the S&P 1500. Same thing here. These are all down signals right here. And here is the last really strong buy signal, and that's really about the same position I looked at on the NASDAQ, or I'm sorry, on the S&P, the NASDAQ 100. Let's look at the S&P 500. And you can see same thing. No, I don't see any dark green bars at all on here. Here's a buy signal, which is the same time as 700. So I'm going to leave it on the S&P 500 and just drop down to the, this is internals AD line percent above the 50. Here you can see how flat this is. And look at the AD line on the S&P 500. Now if I go to the NASDAQ 100, you can see that it's really strong here, but the percent above the 50 has been heading down even though there's been this huge rally right here. Let's look at a few more. I'll do the NASDAQ composite. You can see it's been strong. AD line. This is a bit stronger here too. But if we go to the S&P 1500, you can see that it moved up and then it's just been going sideways from this point on. It doesn't look too bad though. But what is really surprising is the 500. I mean, it's just flat while the market has been, the index itself or the chart itself has been going up. It just goes to prove that this is not really a broad-based rally, even though it's a tremendous rally based upon price. Now let's go back to that NASDAQ 100. So this is where the real strength is. And today, these numbers, even though the index is up, let's see what the Q is up today. I'm looking. It's up 1.93%. The QQQ, which is these stocks right here. And even though it's up that much, it's only 55 advancing and 45 declining. So advancers minus decliners is 10. You know, you would think it would be broader base, but it goes to show that the leadership is somewhat narrow. Now I'm just going to go back quickly to the NASDAQ 100 and do this one more time. Change to the index group and then go to my intraday momentum. So you can see same number, 55, and down is 43. There's a few unchanged, I guess. But anyway, it's not the entire market. It never is, but I would think it would be broader than this. I'm going to do one more thing and then I'm going to end this. I do not like to listen to long videos, and I assume you don't either if you're still with me. But let's just go to all securities, alternate spacebar gets us there. And I'm going to close this folder up, and I'm going to top-down category, intraday relative strength to S&P sectors and compared to the QQQ also. So here's the relative strength of the S&P sectors, and you can see the QQQ, when I sort on raw combo, is on top because it's the primary gainer. And you can see there are some sectors that are negative today. and several that are not up very much at all. So if I let's see, technology just jumped up to number 2, XLK. Let's look at XLK. Dell's on top, HP is right there, Intel, Palo Alto, VeriSign, Cisco, and so on. There are 68 stocks in this sector. Now let's do one more thing. I'm going to go down here to folder number 2, intraday relative strength to the QQQ stocks. And when I do that, you can see all 102 stocks are in here. Intel's leading the way, followed by Palo Alto and Cisco. Here's the Qs, Monster, and so on. So, Advanced Micro Devices, Micron, and so on, they're still doing really well, but you can see if you look at this column here, they are off of their intraday highs, whereas when I go to the top, Intel is at 97.57%, Palo Alto is at 99.74%. I haven't looked at this one for a while. Let's bring it up and get a different chart on here. Gonna go to my most used and just look at the intraday chart here. Here's Palo Alto. It's kind of been all over the place, but yesterday there was a gap up. I assume earnings came in on it, and now it's shooting up. Okay, anyway, that's just a quick look at the markets. It's a tremendous market if you're in the right stocks, but it's not a broad-based rally. That's my opinion anyway. So anyway, thanks for listening. Have a good weekend. Happy Mother's Day to you mothers out there. And I'll do a video again next week. Thanks for listening.